Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are on this fine Sunday. How's everybody doing? Andy Nichols from Two Legs, just doing another impromptu live, kind of Sunday session catch-up. I've done this a couple of times over the last month or so with Tom when he can make it. Sometimes it's been by myself, had some friends, but it seems to work out and we like it and can catch up and talk in time, live, with our fans, just for a little bit, to see what's cooking out there. Hello, Joe. I'm well. Hello, Patrick. Nice to see you guys on here on this fine Sunday afternoon. Okay, so now, I just saw Kyle talk about this. Go. Tell me, James. Tell me now. Tell me everything, because I haven't been on social media today. And where? Where is the tour? Go. I know you know. Mets, maybe if it was 1986, I could care less right now. Sorry, let's get to football season. I can't stand the summer. I hate it. It's the slowest time of the year, unless we get music releases, that is, of course, which we've got coming up this week with one hand clapping. But, yeah, I can't wait for football season. South America, come on. All right, well... Yeah, I know. It's something about it. I saw Kyle Hand left a great comment on our most recent episode on 249 that tour was being teased. And I'm sure that means Back in Brazil will be in the playlist. James, you should go and bring a sign. Bring your sign and have him play it. Yes. Yeah. Well, we know Joan will be there. We know that Joan will be there because she is like the queen of all Maca travel. John Anderson in Englewood was absolutely tremendous. I sat there with my friends Ed, Bob, and Heidi, and it was a fantastic show in Englewood. It really was. Oh, yes, she will. Yes, she will. Yeah, the hometown country gets the royal shaft again, pun intended. Yeah. And some people have already got their copies of One Hand Clapping if you're in the industry and you're connected, like our friend Caitlin Larkin. I promised I wouldn't roast her too much. I did a little bit in our most recent episode, which dropped yesterday. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, it dropped last night. Yesterday was kind of one of those weird days. We actually had to record the interview, and I had to edit it and get it posted all on the same day, given the time difference. And we had some technical issues with that episode as well, too. Sometimes that happens with international phone calls and, Skypes and Zooms and StreamYards. There's just going to be a little bit of a disconnect. So I had to edit it, so it ended up dropping at about 8:30 last night, and it's doing well. So if you haven't checked that out yet with Adrian Sinclair on One Hand Clapping, please do. The UK All the Best is on Apple Music and iTunes. Nice to see. Yeah. Yeah, well, the only thing I could think there, James, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that if anything, we're going to get Junior's Farm added to a set list. Probably. I can't see him pulling out something else from that, Soily. I mean, who knows? But I think it's a safe bet. Junior's Farm works into it. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. It's the one that, because it's fresh enough, and maybe he'll play the full version too, and not the radio edit. Mr. Sinclair is great and a wealth of knowledge, and when you think about it, those guys spent 10 or 11 years researching that book, Volume 1 and 2. 10 or 11 years. Right. They've already worked into that, and if anything, unless he pulls us, unless he surprises us, if we get like Little Woman Love or Sea Moon, I'm really excited about One Hand Clapping, just because, as Adrian told us, there's 8 tracks that have not surfaced at all anywhere on any bootleg or nothing, and the Red Rose Speedway superfan that I am, Power Cut is going to be on there. And when that album drops, now obviously I've got the physical coming on Friday, but you know how it is with the streaming, 12:01, you get a little notification. New music from Paul McCartney is available. I will wake my ass up, I will grab my phone, and in a sleep, I will listen to Power Cut. I cannot wait to hear that. I really can't. And the full version of Wildlife, too. So I'm really excited for this release. We didn't talk about that. We talked about them. So obviously we got to meet them in the flesh and hang with them a good deal at the fest in February at the TWA. And yeah, they want to do more books, but they've got to kind of hash out and get a deal to do more books. And where do they stop and where do they go? You know, I would think that Volume 3 would be basically just the 80s from, you know, I would say from February of 1980, because this Volume 2 ends in January of 80, right? Obviously with the Japan bust. I would say Volume 2 goes from February to 80 to maybe the end, maybe the issue of Flowers in the Dirt. I think that's what they told us, that they weren't going to include the tour in a Volume 3 because the 89-90 tour was so massive and expansive. I think that they had told us that they would go up to the release of Flowers in the Dirt, and that would be it for that one. So we'll see. But they're on a break, and a much-deserved break. The book, Volume 2, is slated for a December 10th release. You've already seen the cover. Hopefully you've all pre-ordered it. It's got that nice blue cover of Paul playing. James would know the bass. It's from the Hammersmith show in at the end of the December 79 tour. I'm not a musician, so I don't know the actual. I don't know if it's a Rickenbacker or whatever, or a Fender bass, but it's one of those basses. But it's a good cover. And the Nashville, as you said, we watched in the if you watch the show, the Nashville chapter will be the Yamaha bass. The Yamaha bass. Thank you. Yeah, well documented if you watch any of those 79 clips from the Hammersmith show, or any of the 17 dates that are scarcely shot on video. That's another one of those crimes, right? You know, how was that tour not documented from start to finish? Talk about a holy grail. If we had a video recording of any of those shows from start to finish, boy, wouldn't that be tremendous? I do, but I'm not going out to play at a bar, and do a gig. I like doing it. I learned by ear. I don't read music formally. I learned by ear. I can do basic guitar and piano and bass by ear. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. João Carlos, I'm really pissed. I've pre-ordered One Hand Clapping here in Brazil, but the music store will only send us in September. I sent an email to Universal Music Brazil to explain that. Well, that does royally suck, João, but at least you can listen to it on Friday if you have the ability to listen on streaming or Apple Music or Spotify. I mean, that's the one good thing about it. And that's why and when we have those conversations about physical, digital, I know my partner he's a straight up physical media guy, only wants his physical media. I like the best of both worlds. I like when I'm home, I want the physical media. I want the vinyl, I want the CD, and I will just put it on while I'm doing stuff in the house and let it play or just listen to it. When I'm out or I'm at work or I'm in the car, having the library on your phone is fantastic. Is fantastic. There you go. If he's gonna do a South American tour, then he'll have it there for sure. Any idea when we think that tour would be? I mean, I know it's early talking, but I mean it's kind of late. It's already the 9th of June. To me, that's too late for a summer tour. Maybe it's an early fall tour, September or October. Good afternoon, Susan. Good to see you. Good to see you on there too. Thanks for hopping on. I would think a fall tour. I would think, we'll see. Big week for MPL. A tour announcement and an archival release. And I know if you follow Paul on social media, somebody snapped a photo of him walking out of MPL one day this past week. So the man is always working. We think he's doing nothing, but he's always doing something. LJ was playing Back to the Egg yesterday in L.A. with a Macca tribute band, and the stream was posted today. Can we have a link, James, please? I've heard of that Macca tribute band. Is that the band called Rock Show or Wings Band? I think it's called Wings Band. They look very good. If that's the one you're referring to. I've seen clips of them before. They're the ones that dress up actually like Wings in 76. I think that's them. Yeah, let's have a link if you can. Hey, Tony, I'm sorry I missed you before. Well, we shall see. Oh, okay. Wings Band is Artie from Fab Four. Okay. Different band. They're really good, though, too. He's phenomenal. So we shall see. We shall see. Let's see. What else is cooking? Anybody watch anything good? What's new in podcast land? I know that Things We Said Today guys had Michael Lindsay Hogg on their most recent show, and I actually reached out to Michael Lindsay Hogg's PR person last week, and he said he's just too inundated to jump on any other podcast, which is a shame. We would have liked to have had him on. Well, Paul needs to play him. I think if Paul's going to come back to America, it's going to be like 4 or 5 dates: New York, Chicago, L.A. The big cities. That's it. And that's right. The 18th, birthday man. Big month for Macca. Big month. This morning, doing my errands around the house, I spun for the first time in a long time. Probably the best compilation, I would say, and that's the 4LP Pure McCartney. I hadn't played it in a while. The last Concord release, actually, and good. It was good to hear those tracks in that order. Hadn't done it in a while, and put together so well. I love the packaging. I love the artwork. It was well done. The booklet. The last Concord release, I enjoyed hearing that. I remember when it came out. Obviously, the new album was represented well on that album with Queenie Eye and Save Us, and of course, Nothing from Driving Rain. Nothing from Driving Rain on that album, which is a miss. But I got to say, if you're going to pick the best compilation to go with for Paul, it's got to be the best one. It's more comprehensive than Wingspan. Although I have an affinity for all the best, and I always will, because that was one of my earliest Paul memories, seeing that compilation and having all those hits in one spot. But I think Pure McCartney is the way to go. No, Ollie, no developments on the Chris Whitten front yet. But we actually haven't reached out to him either. So I have to grab his email from somewhere and do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he commented one time a couple of years ago on one of our interviews, and we invited him on there, but we haven't had any other contact. So we'll keep trying. The link is too long to post. Alvish Showroom is the YouTube channel. All right, so if you want to see the LA tribute Macca band, what's the name of the band, James? Do we know? That did the whole Back to the Egg, and I think that's worthwhile. I got to check that out later. Later tonight, I'll go watch that. It was a busy week, a couple of weeks for us. We did a live stream of Flowers in the Dirt. A anniversary re-listen was last week, which was quite fun. That's doing quite well. I think it's up to almost 600 views. That was good fun, with a cameo from my mother, which I did not think was going to happen. Maybe I'm Amazed is the band. Thank you. That was fun listening to that again. But I have to work on getting the audio for Tom to be heard. The music. You all in the audience can hear it. I can hear it, but Tom in the call could not hear it. So that made for sometimes delays, and he didn't know where we were. So I'm actually exploring some other streaming options. Right now we've been using StreamYard for a couple of years. I started looking at some other platforms, Riverside and Restream was another one I'm looking at. So I might do that, and so we can do some more of that, and Tom can hear us at the same time. And Adrian confirmed that he's working on an album too. So if you watch that, he did tell us towards the end of the episode that he's doing that. So, and a big week for us too, with one hand clapping, and we. No, and we had some issues the last. I got a new computer. I have an all-in-one mixer mic that I bought on Amazon for like $120. It's not the best audio, but we try. Some people leave us some real scathing reviews on Apple Podcast about our audio. I'm too loud. Tom's not good enough. We're doing our best here. We try. Sometimes we don't get it right. Which is, we're just kind of following what the man always says. If you don't like it, switch off. We're not going to get every episode is not going to be a banger. We have issues. We do our best and try to clean them up in post-production, but we try. We really try. But this week, for Two Legs. Probably going to be Wednesday night. We're going to go live for our 250th episode. I think it'll be Wednesday night, about 9 o'clock Eastern. I think that's the date. We've already got a couple of people on board who have agreed to pop on. And just kind of, we did this, I think, for 100. I think we did this for 150 or maybe 100. I can't remember. Yeah, that was a good inclusion of Arrow Through Me for Back to the Egg. We're going to go live. We've got a couple of people confirmed that will be on. The Queen, Kid O'Toole, will join us. And also, happy to announce that Dr. Kenneth Womack has confirmed that he'll pop on as well, too. So we sent it out to a bunch of friends, and hopefully you can join us. If you're on that email chain, do get back to me. If you weren't, and you'd like to, just send me an email, either at Two Legs or my own email, and I'd like to have you on and see what we can do. See how long it goes. 250. Wow. I think I joined at episode 67 or 8 back in 2019, which I can't believe. I just can't believe it's 250 episodes. And we've gotten better as time has gone on, thankfully. Watch the show with Adrian after this. Not really yet. Not yet. Yeah, Flowers was good fun with that. A lot of anniversaries this past week. Flowers was June 5th. Back to the Egg was June 8th or June 7th of 79. You scroll and you see anniversaries. I mean, we just felt, Talk More Talk did a show, re-listening to the album. Figured 35 years was a nice, good number to listen, go in. We're not going to do Back to the Egg because it's the 79, right? So 45th anniversary. We could have. There's the man who just commented, great comment on our channel, on our show. Thank you. We were just talking at the start about the tour, and James had mentioned it, and you had mentioned it too. My man, I didn't know. I was planning to go live before I knew about tour hints. I just finished mowing the lawn and getting ready and put Pure McCartney away, and then I looked at my phone and I saw your comment, and then James mentioned it, Liverani, right at the top of the show. So we are thinking it's South America. That's from what we see, and Mr. James' voice is just a little bit too nonplussed because the UK fan base looks like they're going to miss out again. See, but though you guys live in the UK, so you guys could take a train and go to any of these historic sites, Scotland, London, Liverpool, Manchester. You could go to all these historic places that the Beatles and Paul have been to. We can't. You can do that. You could spend a day trip and get on a Virgin Mega train and go visit any of these sites. We can't do that. So it's a little bit of a happy balance there, James. You can't see them live, but you can go to their roots and walk where they walked and did what they did. That's a big ask for us Yanks. But they do need their love, Kyle. They do. It's been long overdue. If June 2022 was the last time I saw Paul at MetLife Stadium, so be it. Only thing I don't like about that is just that it's 60,000 people and it's amateur night. It's amateur night. And I've talked about this on streams. I can't stand the crowds and the clapping Karens and the people that won't shut up at concerts. That going to a venue that large is tough. Like I just saw John Anderson in Englewood at the Bergen Pack. 2,000 people. Great concert. Mostly everybody was behaved, listened intently, enjoyed the music. But Paul's never going to play that. Although like Bob Dylan does. Dylan has played the Beacon Theater. That's a great venue. I wish that would be my one dream wish with Paul is to play a venue like a Beacon Theater for like a week and just play stripped down stuff. Just do that. Oh, shots fired. Let's not go there. Let's just be happy that if the man tours, I'll listen to him sing Maybe I'm Amazed, even if he can't hit it. So what? And I'm contradicting myself, but if he plays MetLife Stadium, I'll be there. I'll deal with the 3 hours to get in and the 4 hours to get out of the place to get on to Route 3. I'll deal with it. I thought about this after we did that show. Good song, just poorly sequenced. Should not have been on the second track on side 1. That should have been on side 2. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm right up there too. 11 and 12. I can't compare to the Liveranis because they're like the fans on the run of all time, 30 something times. And again, I don't think your dad's on here, but I got his book, and James, I've enjoyed the book. I've read it a few times, and just a nice documentation of the Soundcheck stuff that you guys have gone to. Love reading the set list that he did, and all the detail and the photographs. I've just enjoyed the book a lot. No. Well, Rick. Well, yeah. No, that's Tom's buddy. Yeah. Well, if you can't compare to them, then I guess nobody can compare to them at all, because you guys, you and your dad are like, to me, you're like, and Joan, you're on that same level, stratosphere. In my opinion, you can compare to them. You may not say so, but I think you guys can for sure. Because, you're all in. You guys even traveled to one of the shows in California too, I read. Back in 2015 or 14. I thought you guys would just see him when he was in the New York area. You guys traveled and made the journey to one of the shows in California. I think it was 2015. I was reading in the book. Yeah. 19 you guys went there. Yeah. I was like, "Oh wow, they took a trip. They went all the way out there." Awesome. Awesome. So you guys go there now. So if Paul sees you and you guys make eye contact, he knows you now, right? I mean, it's safe to say. I mean, you guys have shook his hand. He's got to know you guys. I live vicariously through other people. Yes, I have a personalized thing signed from Paul, from him to me, but I didn't get it. A friend got it for me. I know plenty of people that have met him and hung out with him in Liverpool or here in America, especially in Liverpool. I thought so. It's got to be. He must say, "Oh, there's that awesome father and son duo. Good guys. Yeah." Has to be. Has to be an amazing feeling. Oh, yeah. And the limo, I think your dad talked about the limo watch. I love how you guys called it. We're doing the limo watch. I know Mayo did that too when in 2022. You get there at 3:00. Hey, but if you're gonna make an event, you make it an event and you go all in, and you guys certainly do that. I'm trying. I'm really trying, but I'm not there. I've seen Paul in other countries. Portugal and Italy were good fun and good weather. What tours, James? Yes, Kyle. Man on the Run again. So I know we're not getting archive stuff. We want the archive releases, but we're not. We're going to get plenty of McCartney material this year. I mean, that Man on the Run documentary is going to be fantastic. I just don't know how it's going to get released. Is that going to be a theatrical thing with a premiere and a red carpet and the whole nine? Or is it going to just be a stream release drop? Adrian didn't know, and he said if he did know, he couldn't tell us anyway. But that hopefully, and it's Adrian got to work on that, because of the success of the Legacy book. They didn't come right out and say it, but they know that that's the book, and he was approached, and he's working on it because that's what Adrian, that's his, he's in film work and TV as I am. So it's good to see that he's doing that. The limo watch at Citi Field, 2009, great venue. Saw it with my grandma, actually, who recently passed. So that's a good memory that I have with her. That's right, memory almost full. Yep. Yeah. See, we got a lot of spring releases for Paul stuff. We've got a lot of good. We've got a lot of spring releases. Memory almost full. Back to the Egg. Yeah. Susan said, "I've seen Paul somewhere between 6 and 10 times. Most recent being Fenway." Okay. Yeah, 2004 was a very good one. Lisbon and Verona in 2013. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Just scrolling back, missing comments here. Yeah, Man on the Run. I don't know how comprehensive that's going to be. I'm hoping it's a nice 3-hour documentary. You know, the recent Beach Boys one did not sit well in my mouth. You know, it was like, it was too short. I think hopefully, if anything, this is comprehensive and done well. And if somebody like Adrian Sinclair's involved with it, even on the, then it's got to be pretty thorough and good. I hope it. You know, I kind of think at the time. I mean, I'm glad we have it, but I think Wingspan was a project that was jumped way too soon. You know, I don't think the time was right to revisit Wingspan in 2001. I think maybe with the passing of Linda being so only just a couple years after that, before that, Paul might have been feeling nostalgic, and I know that was basically Mary's and her husband's, or I think her ex-husband's project to do that project. And I felt at the time it was too soon for that, and now the time has come with especially with all the archive sets coming out at the beginning of 2010 to now. I think a relook at Wings would be more appreciated. Now, it came out, it did well as a compilation, and I enjoyed it, but I do think this will probably supplant Wingspan as the documentary to look at, you know, and we'll see how far they go. You know, how far up, how are they chronicling all of Wings, you know, or is it just going to be like a Paul thing? Are we going to get, you know, input from surviving members of Wings? It's nice to know that Jeff Britton has come, you know, out of the woodwork, because really, when you think about it, this release is celebrating his 7 months in the band with one hand clapping. So he's getting his moment to shine. Yes, he's on a couple of tracks. He's on Venus and Mars. A couple of tracks. He's on Junior's Farm. But, you know, this is really showcasing just Jeff as a drummer for all these tracks, which will be really interesting to hear. In July, I was going to see Paul in France in 2020, but of course that didn't happen. I do think Paul should. Yeah, he should. He should. Maybe it'll be, hey, I'm doing South America in October. Maybe it'll be a grand announcement of like UK. And I've always felt, if you look back at the history, Paul pre-pandemic seemed to do a lot of gigs in Liverpool and in the UK in December, right? Because he goes back to England. He goes to Liverpool for the holidays. It seemed there for a good couple of years that Paul would do some shows in the UK around Christmas time. And I'm hoping for the UK fans that he kind of gets back into that cycle, because it makes sense. He's home. He can go down to the farm. He can go up and visit the extended relatives in Liverpool, of which is probably multiplied to be like, 300 now, and do a show, at the Echo Arena, which I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if it's called the Echo Arena. It was when I was there. And of course, I saw him there in 2011 when he did Wonderful Christmas Time, and it was fantastic. I think that's the best hope for the UK fans, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Copyright dump. But how could it be? How could one hand clapping be a copyright dump if the project never really came out? That film never was released, right? Neither was any of the music. So how could it be a copyright dump? I mean, yes, the songs all came out just about on other releases, but it's not, as I said, back in 2013, we got the 1963 recordings, the Beatles stuff that came out on iTunes, got released. That was a copyright dump. Boom, out. Because those songs were out already. It could be. It could be. And we talked about that. Do we go all the way up into, do we do these things for all the rest of the, up to, to keep that 50 years seems to be the mark, right? It seems to be, after 50 years, we want to keep it, going. To keep the copyright renewed for another 50 years. So if you keep going on, 74, 75, 24, 25, 26, 27, on and on and on and on, we'll see. I am interested, and of course, Adrian didn't want to talk too much about it, but he said that like the recording of the Speed of Sound album, that's going to be an interesting read, because that was done while the band was on tour. They recorded an album very quickly in the middle of the world tour and put it out in April of 76. March or April of 76. So that'll be interesting to read, like when they kind of found time in the touring schedule to record Swings at the Speed of Sound. We just have to put up with the Taylor Swift mania here at the moment. She's playing 3 shows. Oh, yeah, well, hey, Liverpool, man. Ever since, what was it, 2008? That was the year, it was the, I forget what they called it, was the capital, it was the Liverpool one, or was the European City Capital of Culture or something like that. I remember learning that when I was over there. Well, I mean, officially, yeah, but you could go listen to it anytime. Anytime you want. It'll be good for the economy. It will. It does. It's a little rushed. It's a little rushed. I enjoy it. And I've said this on the show. I enjoy the Speed of Sound tracks, but I think they come absolutely alive, smoking, cooking, on fire on the live shows from particularly all the shows in America in '76 that James's dad saw and my dad saw. And Beware My Love, Silly Love Songs, Let 'Em In, Time to Hide. Those songs absolutely are cooking live. To me, on Speed of Sound, they just sound very polished and good songs. But to me, like Silly Love Songs live and studio don't even compare. They don't even compare at all. Let me go back. The Beatles did that 1963 dump version that hadn't been released. I'm with you, Susan. Well, that's why there's lawyers. That's why Paul has a whole law firm at his hand, or multiple law firms at his hand to do all this stuff for him. And they to tell him, "Oh, you better do this to keep the extension going." It could have been. It's not as gritty as Venus and Mars. It's not, or even Back to the Egg. Clearly, Speed of Sound and London Town have those kind of slick, sleek qualities to them. There's not too much grittiness in them. Hello, Thomas. My dad went to the one in Chicago. So I forget. I'd have to look at the itinerary. I know you were in Uniondale, and I loved how you close your book with the ticket stub. Nice taste. My dad was in boot camp at the time, and he was in the Navy, and he went, and a bunch of his friends went to go see him in Chicago. I think at the Rosemont Horizon. I think that was the venue, without looking it up. Well, yeah. I mean, London Town for me after Red Rose Speedway is my favorite. So that's 1 and 2. But Speed, yeah, I'm very interested to see how quickly they recorded, because it's rushed. But you even had some gems on there with Warm and Beautiful. Never Played Live, San Fairy Ann. I do love that. And if, again, those of you that are out there that know how to secure these things, the HMC bootleg dropped of Volume 2 of that underdub stuff. So you've got the Venus and Mars Speed of Sound tracks on there. Again, not condoning the purchase of bootlegs on our show, but they're out there. And if you've heard them, you can hear you can hear the Speed of Sound material. For my years, the Speed of Sound stuff is newer. There's some gems on there that I had not heard before. The Venus and Mars stuff we've got already. Most of it all came out on the archive issue, but yeah, definitely antiseptic, but still good. Still good. If you're in that, if you don't want to rock out to a live album, you want to just put a nice tepid Wings album on. If you're in that mood, you could put that on, skipping Tom Hunyadi's favorite song, "Cook of the House." Cook of the House, yeah. But I do like the guide vocal version of Paul singing the note you never wrote. I think that's awesome. And I think the Go Now version of One Hand Clapping, which I've heard, obviously, on bootlegs, and I listened to it again recently in preparation of doing the show with Adrian. The Go Now version on One Hand Clapping is awesome. It's very different. So, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the Junior's Farm release is like a total hybrid. It's not. It's elements of all different takes. The official version, Adrian did some homework on that to figure that out, which was crazy. He's getting this Frankenstein mix of Junior's Farm on this release that's coming out, but only a couple more days. Maybe we'll do an unboxing of that too. It all depends on. I ordered it from Paul's site. I didn't get it from Amazon, so generally they come a day or two. It might become the day of. Hopefully, it becomes the day before. Yeah. Yeah, instead of just going right into it, Tom, right? Yeah. Although I enjoy that too. Yeah, because the intro does have a nice build up to it. It does. Yeah. Again, it just, in the middle of all that touring, they threw an album together with 2 huge hits on it. Silly Love Songs and Let 'Em In. When I was a kid, I always thought that Let 'Em In was the bigger hit. The one I liked first. I'm like, what? And it took me a while to get into Silly Love Songs, and then obviously that was the hit off of it. And if you've heard some of the bootlegs, I love Paul. See, Paul knows in his head how the song has to sound. You heard that on Underdubbed with Jet, with him doing the horns. He does the same thing with Silly Love Songs. The man knows what he wants it to sound like. So he brings in the brass people and says, just do it like this. He can't tell them how to play it, but he knows how it has to sound. I love that about him. And you hear it. You hear it on all these demos and rough mixes, which is things like that. Fans, we eat that crap up. Totally eat that crap up. The new stuff that we haven't heard before. That's what we live for. So, Getting Closer. Yeah. Good track. Yeah, so hopefully you can tune in on Wednesday night and join us for a little bit to celebrate 250. Our 251 is going to be a review of One Hand Clapping. When we're going to find time to do that, I don't know. But we will. It's going to be a busy week. We've got to get on. Everybody's got One Hand Clapping coming. We're going to listen to it, unbox it, check it out. It is. It totally is a Frankenstein mix. It is. And I always thought that Jeff Britton was given the axe before they went back to. Growing up, I always thought Jeff Britton was just in the band during Nashville. It took me until I was reading, obviously learning the history. No, he was with them for another, few more months, and then finally, when they got to New Orleans, that's when they parted ways. But in my mind, I think Jeff Britton, and I think Nashville, and of course our friend Dan Ely. Those of you who know Dan Ely on Facebook, Dan has like a shrine to the 6 weeks that Paul and Wings stayed in Nashville and kept up a friendship and relationship with Denny Lane and Jeff Britton. And if you subscribe to SiriusXM, I think Mr. Tom Frangione is going to have an interview with Jeff Britton dropping at some point this week. I think that's what I heard. I think that's what I heard through the grapevine. So, Jeff Britton, who's not really granted interviews at all from the late 70s until the pandemic, it'll be interesting to hear his take on it, on this period. Yeah, I suppose. Jimmy McCulloch was no saint either, though. Yeah. So, and I think, does anybody think we're going to get the film One Hand Clapping at some point, too? We're talking about these Men on the Run. We talked about this on the show. I kind of wish this release was the album and the film together. But, we'll take what we can get. I would have liked if it would have been the film and the album. Here we go. And I get it. It was shot on U-matic tapes. And if anybody knows that industry, U-matic tapes are tough to do. You can't convert them. Just release them as they are. Just release them. And just give us the full film. The full film. And as a history person and a researcher, just give us everything. Clean it up if you want, but that's why I'm a little cheesed off that Suicide's not on it. But I can live with it. But I feel when these projects are presented, they should be complete from start to finish. But, we'll take it. We'll take it either way. Yeah, it should. The backyard film, which I learned was going to be its own thing. And it was filmed, the backyard stuff was shot about 3 weeks after there was 4 or 5 dates that Litchfield shot Wings at Studio 2. And the backyard film was done about 3 weeks after that. So we're talking like late August of 74 for the backyard stuff. And the only kernel of snippet that we've ever seen of that officially is if you go back into your DVD archives. I believe the backyard video is playing as a DVD menu on one of the discs of the McCartney years. I think, or that or Wingspan. I think it was the McCartney years. Yeah. Should, yeah. I never get my copies from Mac is citing a time. Sometimes it's been good. Sometimes they've been good. They have. Was the film in the archive? No, it was not. Not the whole film, though. Just snippets. Just snippets. As I saw and as I read in your book, thanks to Bob shouting it out, Paul did Suicide at a Soundcheck in 2010 in Philly. When I was reading the book, I couldn't believe it. I said, what? He did this? Of all songs? You know, another well-known Soundcheck song that I love is Celebration, which I know James and Tom probably know very well. That's a great, great track. And if there was ever going to be a Soundcheck release, man, Celebration's got to be on it. India, too, is another good one. Rock Show is not available on Blu-ray. Rock Show's not available on Blu-ray? Come on. That should have been bundled with Wings Over America. You know, I hated that you had to buy that separately. Because that was such a mammoth set that came out in 2013. 2013. I wish but that was separately. They did a theatrical re-release for Rock Show, if you remember. I went to go see it. Paul isn't playing his reliable Martin D28 in the backyard, but unusually a Martin 35. Thank you, Lee. Yeah. Well, this becomes the age old question. You know, are they going to just release it streaming, physical media? Who knows? Ha! I arranged Celebration with my high school symphony and choir. It gave me, oh man, wow. That's pretty cool. When you were in high school? Speaking of lost video, I hope the 97 rooftop performance for Flaming Pie comes out. Tom, little context on that, please. I'm trying to remember what rooftop. 97 rooftop performance of Flaming Pie. England, America? I'm trying to remember. Paul's one of the where you can't get all his albums easily. No, you can't. You can't. Got to remember being a kid going to the Wiz. Anybody remember that? Nobody Beats the Wiz? Snapping up all those first pressings on CD. $11.98 for Red Rose Speedway. $11.98 for Wildlife. It was like, you got these things that was like gold, you know? Oh, okay. MPL. I have not seen footage of that. So, wow. That would be cool. Because I don't remember seeing that anywhere. Oh, at your school. Okay. Awesome. You know, I'm trying to remember all that McCartney week stuff from 97. But, I don't. I remember, obviously, the town hall meeting with John Fugelsang. And he sang Bishopsgate. Yeah. Talking about Mr. Kite and all that stuff. And somebody asked him at the time, what music does he listen to currently? And I think he said he listens to Beck. Yeah. The Wiz, man. That was it. Nobody beats The Wiz. $11.98. It's like a kid in a candy store. CD section. Boom, go. Dad, go look at the electronics. I'll be looking at the CDs. See you later. Used to use all my, my babysitting money and, lawn mowing money and just save up and buy those CDs. Bishopsgate, come on back. Come on back. Right on the spot. Wouldn't it be a mad idea if I came on a song? Guitar tech. I think it was probably John Hamill. Comes out, gives him the guitar. Boom. Remember watching that live at the time too. I think we had to wake up crazy early for it because it was live at the time. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool though, to Tom's point earlier. 2 songs from Flaming Pie. Flaming Pie and what else, Tom? What other song did he do? He did Flaming Pie and what else? Back to the Egg was one of those ones you had to grab it when it was out. Because that was never, it was out, the only really pressing you ever really saw of it was the 89. Now would be a mad idea if I can remember it. Your song. My turn. Just go like this. Yep. You remember it. Yes, sir. The World Tonight. The World Tonight was the other one. Cool. That would, I've never seen that, so that would be awesome. Good afternoon, Blocky Bear. Young Boy and World Tonight, right? Your dad's saying it was World Tonight and Flaming Pie. But back to this. Back to the Egg was scarce. I after I got it at the Wiz, I never saw it anywhere else. That was one of those titles that was just hard to come by. The original, the first pressing of it on Capitol. This one. You just never saw it anywhere. Unless anybody still remember those, get 10 CDs for a penny schemes? Used to do that all the time. We're going to join Andy. Why do we get all this stuff now? Oh, I signed up to get 10 CDs for a penny. I bought a vinyl copy of Back to the Egg on holiday in Israel in Tel Aviv in '98 with Flaming Pie. Yeah, Flaming Pie, the original UK that I have is, I got it. It was probably about $30 back then, and it wasn't sealed either. Which, yeah, it's a good fun. That was such a good album to come back to after the anthology. It was not that I didn't like Off the Ground or Flowers in the Dirt, but it just, Flaming Pie is just up there. It just is. Lauren said on the stream last night that Columbia didn't know how to market Wings. Probably not. Probably not, And that was like that. And that was a record deal only for America. Only for America to do that. Yeah. Again, bonus tracks here: Daytime, Nighttime Suffering, Wonderful Christmas Time, and Rudolph. Hello, Lisa. Yeah, but again, you don't see it. You don't see it too often. I think I have another one of them. I have this like a mini Japanese one. I have a couple of these too. These are nice because these are faithful reproductions of the actual album too, which are quite nice. Yeah, even with the sunny side up. So, but yeah, I remember like being really. It was just hard. I mean, I never ever saw it anywhere else again after that. Well, if he threw Good Night Tonight on it, it would have been fine. Yeah. My copy of Back to the Egg on the CD has the Sony logo from '95. Okay, mine has the Capitol 89 blue. Well worn after many, many years of playing. Well, but this is a catch-22 because he does it. He did it sometimes and he didn't do it. Okay? If he's going to do non-album singles, then with a little luck, doesn't go on London Town, but it did. You see? That I remember, yes. Yes, I do, Tom. I do. Very much. Yes, he was. Back when, the internet was like, in 98, was like dial-up, and it was like buffering, and the video quality with that, and I remember watching the Cavern Club performance over the internet in December of 99. It was like, oh, there's Paul, but it's like buffering, and it's like slow, and it's like crappy, but it's Paul, it's live. Yes, I do. I do remember that. Yeah. So, yeah, but back to that he's not consistent with it. If he did it, so he threw, with a little luck on London Town, throw Good Night Tonight on this, and Columbia would have been happy. You could have made many meals while buffering. And then it was just gone. It was just gone. Anybody remember the old, I remember like back in that day, now that Tom mentions it, going to like Paul's website. His only web presence was the MPL Communications website. It was so bare bones. Anybody remember going to that back in the day? And it was just like a song listing of all the songs that he owned copyright to. Wing song, all his own songs and the show tunes that he owned. Remember like searching it up, mplcommunications.com, and looking just to find anything, before he really retooled his website and relaunched everything many times over now, actually. But I remember like, and especially around that period, 97, 98, 99. Yeah. Yeah. It did. Richie Havens does a cover of Arrow Through Me. That I have to listen to. I love Richie Havens' copy of cover version of WOLD by Harry Chapin. That's a good cover too. I don't believe two songs fit on Back to the Egg. Oh, maybe not. As he called it in the 1986 interview, when the interviewer said, "Oh, a concept album," he says, "You mean a bombcept album?" Time heals all wounds, as Mr. Lennon always said. So sooner or later, that will come out. Sooner or later. Block. Or if Daytime Nighttime Suffering wasn't a B-side and added the album and single became Alone, it would have. Yeah, maybe if you just do that, that would have helped it. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Those are a couple of our friends in the podcast community are ending their shows. Hard to keep up. It's schedules, life comes into play, but those guys had a good run. Respect what they did. We're not going anywhere though. But at some point, all things must pass, but that's not going to be anytime soon for us. Too many good things to look forward to. Too many concerts, too many albums, too many reviews. 79 tour didn't boost the album here. No, well, because it was the album came out in June, and that tour was in December. One of the best on the album. Easily. Yep. All the old 93 with the white. I always hated that. They truncated the artwork. Was disco the reason Back to the Egg wasn't popular? I don't know. By 79, people probably... I got to say, we talked about this with Adrian. 76 is like the peak of Wings, okay? In America, especially, in obviously in the UK, that was going to be... That's what, post-Beatles-wise, that's going to be what he's really remembered for, is that period. That's why Volume 2 of this book is going to be so interesting, because as I mentioned at the close of the show, I want to hear like the lead-up to it, and the come down. Obviously, the 75-76 World Tour is the best, is the high point. But what happens after that? And the direction, Paul probably figured, you know what? I've just conquered America 10 years after being in the Beatles. What else can I do? Obviously, the family was still growing. Linda had James, and they were going to scale things back. That's why you have kind of idyllic, peaceful, tranquil music on London Town. I get that. And then Back to the Egg is a total, let's try to, punk is here, and let me try to stay relevant, and I respect that. The knack didn't steal nothing. I have the knack to get my Sharona. Nobody steals anything from Paul. People steal from Paul or influence Paul, but ain't nobody stealing from Paul. Ain't happening. Yep. Yeah, so that's about it. So been on for just about an hour. Probably going to wrap it up now. It's about a little after 1 o'clock here. So I am going to sign off. I want to thank everybody for popping on today. The Liveranis, Beetle Mad Mike, Joe Mantaneo, Tony D. Thanks, guys, for popping in for a little bit on your Sunday. Go out and enjoy your day. It's beautiful here in the Northeast. And we'll see you this week. Busy week. 250 on Wednesday. One hand clapping on Friday. So, thank you, Kyle, Tom. Yes, exactly. I agree, Franz. I do. Thank you, guys, for hopping on today. Enjoy your day as well. Enjoy your Maca. And we'll see you during the week. Have a good one. See you. Bye.